Hi, my name is Mitchell Cook and I'm a filmmaker from Vancouver, BC, and this is my Pyxis 12k rig. I'd like to kind of just show off the way I've got set up because I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. So yeah, without further ado, here we go. I've been loving the Pyxis 12k so far. I can't give my opinion on it yet as I haven't used it on enough projects, but so far the image has looked incredible and I'm a big fan of the form factor. As someone who came from the Pocket 6K Pro, which I'm currently recording on, this just is so much nicer to rig out than that camera it was. So when I was rigging out this camera, I wanted to keep it pretty lightweight so that I could run around with it all day without breaking my back. So one of the ways that I cut weight on this camera is that I opted not to go for a base plate with 15mm rods. Instead, I just went with a Tilta NATO to 15mm rod adapter, which then obviously has a Tilta follow focus on it. This allows me to pull focus as a solo operator pretty easily, and I'm also able to use it as another point of contact when I'm holding my camera handheld, which is really nice. So on this side, I've got a handle by Shape, which is a pretty expensive handle, but I decided it was probably worth it for something that I'm going to be using so much. I wanted it to be comfortable. So a big fan of that. It's very easily adjustable. If I need to, change it, it's very quick and easy. I don't have to worry about de-rigging it while I'm in the middle of a shoot, which is really nice. And I guess I should talk about the cage that this is all mounted to. I'm using the Tilta Pyxis cage, which they made originally for the 6K, but also works for the Pyxis 12K because they're the same body. I'm a big fan of most of it. I think it's pretty well thought out. It looks pretty sleek as well. One of the extra reasons that I went with the Tilta cage is that they also produce this BP to V-mount adapter, which adds some I/O, including 2-pin LEMO, a couple DTAP ports, and a USB-C. You can mount the V-mount straight onto it, and there's no cable that you don't need to run a DTAP into camera. It's just nice to, have one less cable on the rig. With the Pocket 6K Pro, there's quite a few cables that we're running into the camera. I got really spoiled by the 6K Pro's built-in NDs. It was really nice not to have to put on a matte box or a screw-on filter when I was kind of running gun, changing lenses often. So when I got the Pyxis 12K, I was looking for a solution to that. Now, most of my lenses are EF due to the fact that I had the 6K Pro, which is only EF. So to combat this for the 12K, I found an adapter by Mikey or Meek, I'm not sure. It's an L mount to EF mount adapter. So the nice thing about this is that it has the same tray system as the Canon RF to EF adapter, which I was used to as I used to shoot on Canon. So the only downside to that is that you obviously then have your clear filter or your ND filter. You have these two. And I didn't want to carry it around in the case because I figured at some point I was going to forget it when I was shooting, and the last thing you want obviously is to not have your ND or clear filter. The Tilta cage comes with an SSD holder, which you can use to obviously run media into your camera. I'm using the CF Express Type B cards, so I didn't have any actual use for this. So I asked a friend of mine if he would make a part for me that would hold on to whichever filter I wasn't using at the time on the camera, so I don't have to worry about forgetting it. And he made this little part here that holds the filters in, which is really sweet because it clicks in, locks in, doesn't go anywhere, and I don't have to worry about forgetting it. So while we're on the topic of 3D printed parts, up top I have a vent cover. So both the Pyxis 12K and the 6K have vents on the bottom that channel cold air from the bottom and hot air out the top. Because of this design, I was a little bit worried about rain or snow getting into the camera. And I do actually know someone who had snow get into the top of their Pyxis 12K and it bricked the camera. So this just channels the air out the sides instead of the top. To test this out, I recorded for about 2 hours in 12K on this camera in a room that I had set to 26 degrees Celsius, which is quite warm, and the camera had no issues. If you're from Vancouver and you're interested in either of these 3D printed parts, let me know. I'll put you in contact with Owen. He did a great job on these. One of the harder things for me to figure out on this rig was a microphone. I didn't want to use the VideoMic Pro Plus that I had been using for many years. It was great, but I wanted a shotgun mic that was a little bit more sleek and ideally phantom powered. So I found this Sanken CS M1. I've got this mounted with a mid-49 15mm rod adapter, which then goes into this small rig mic holder, which has vibration dampening built in, which is really nice. Due to the size of the mic, I actually struggled to find an adapter until I found this smaller one, so this was really sweet that it worked. So I've got a full-size XLR to mini XLR cable here. It's really nice because it is phantom powered, so I don't have to worry about powering or charging the mic battery. It just is powered by the camera, and then also turns on and off with the camera. So I don't have to worry about making sure the mic's on ever, which is really sweet. Moving up top here, I have a top handle from Condor Blue, which I'm a big fan of, especially because it allows me to kind of wrap my fingers around this way. I prefer top handles that allow me to put my index finger around the front here rather than all of them like this. I feel like I can articulate the camera very well with it. And mounted to that is a Condor Blue monitor mount, just a friction monitor mount that I find is pretty good for most situations. Obviously, if I wanted to mount the monitor on the side or be able to access it from a weird angle, I'd use a magic arm, but this works for most scenarios for me. This then brings me to the monitor, which is by BlackMagic Design, which is great because it allows you to have full touch controls of the camera. The fact that this monitor also gets power and image from one USB-C cable is so nice not to have to worry about SDI, HDMI, and also powering the monitor. It makes the setup a lot simpler. I really only have 2 cables and they both go right into the front of the camera. So everything else is wide open for me to add transmission or whatever else. I've also got Bit49's knobs for the USB-C cables to tighten them in. It's way better than what you get out of the box with these cables, so I definitely recommend those. So yeah, this is my Pyxis 12k rig. It's a pretty simple rig, but it feels pretty well optimized to me. If you have any questions about any of the parts, let me know and I will send them your way, and I hope you enjoyed.